I used to be severely addicted to porn. This is back in like the mid 2010s, specifically when I was in high school. That was like the peak of it. Every day I would get home and I went to this like private school, this private high school. So we had like iPads and stuff. It was required for some reason. But we would have our iPad. So every day I would get home from school, I would pull out my iPad and I would go to the bathroom because the bathroom was the only door that had a lock on it. My bedroom didn't have a lock on the door. And I was basically just gooning. This is before the word gooning became like a thing. This is before that word even existed. But that's basically what I was doing. I would just go onto the hub and then I would just scroll through the homepage and just whatever caught my eye, I would just watch that and I would just jerk it. You know what I mean? Like damn near every high school boy does this, but it got to a point where I was doing it every day, like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. Like I would just keep going to the bathroom. My family would literally wonder, like, Aaron, why are you spending so long in the bathroom? Like, do you really need to poop that much? And I would just be like, yeah, like my stomach hurts. But really, I was just fucking jerking off to the hub. And then it started escalating, right? We know the genres escalate. Then I started getting bored with just the vanilla stuff. Then you need to start looking at like hentai and you need to start looking at all these crazy genres. And I wasn't even like searching for it. It just started finding me through the algorithm. It just starts feeding you all these different genres. And you're just like, you're in high school, you're a teenager, you don't know any better. So I was just exploring and like looking at all this different stuff. And then before you know it, like I said, every day I'm doing this and I'm just frying my brain and I don't even realize what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it every day. But the downstream effect of that is that I was already really nervous to talk to girls. I was really fat. I was like 240 pounds. I was clinically obese, like over 30% body fat. And I was naturally really shy at that time as well. So that really hurt my self-esteem. That really hurt my confidence. And there were a lot of pretty girls at my school that like, I thought at the time they were all really pretty, but like I was too nervous to talk to them because I didn't think that I was attractive. I didn't think that any of them would find me attractive. I didn't think that any of them would want to talk to me. And so I used porn as like escapism. It's like, oh, okay, well, I can't, this is all subconscious thinking, but subconsciously I'm thinking like, oh, well, I can't really get laid. So like, I might as well just like, jerk off. And it's like, you pretend like you're the guy in the video because that's all porn really is. You're living vicariously through the screen. And so I was doing that, but then that would just feed into the loop of me feeling like I wasn't good enough, right? We talked about the addiction cycle in a previous video when I was talking about weed, but it's the same thing. You do the bad habit because you feel bad. You feel like you're not good enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't attractive enough. And then so I would watch porn and jerk off and like live vicariously through the screen. But then deep down, I still wouldn't feel that good because I'm not actually doing anything. I'm not actually like getting laid. At the time it feels good because you don't know any better. It's like when you start doing a drug, it feels good at first because you're like, wow, this is so amazing. It's so euphoric. It feels crazy. But then after a while, it loses its luster after you do it so often. So at first the porn felt great, but then as I got a little older, as I got towards the end of high school and started getting ready for college, I was like, maybe I shouldn't keep doing this. Maybe this is holding me back. I just kind of had this intuitive feeling. Maybe it was the universe or God speaking to me. Like maybe I should stop doing this. This is probably holding me back because I noticed that towards the end of high school, I actually ended up losing weight because the doctor had told me that I was pre-diabetic, and that's a whole different story for a different video. But I ended up losing like 70 pounds and I became really skinny. And then that helped improve my confidence a lot. So then I actually started like senior year talking to all these pretty girls and actually like just interacting with more people in general. And I realized, oh, I could have just been talking to them this whole time. I could have just been socializing and interacting this whole time. Looking back on it, it's like maybe I could have gotten a girlfriend. Maybe I could have like, at least gone on some dates or something, right? But at that time, I wrote this story in my head. I didn't believe that I could do any of that. So I just wanted to live vicariously through the screen. So then I was just feeding this loop of addiction and just feeling bad and making myself feel worse. I'd watch the porn, then that would actually subconsciously make me feel not good enough. Like, oh, I just am someone who watches porn. Like your sexuality, you literally become porn sexual. Like you get aroused and your body immediately thinks, oh, it's time to jerk off, it's time to watch porn. Like it's not time to actually have sex or like interact with another human being. It's like it's time to just watch porn and jerk off to pixels on a screen and watch other people have sex. At the time, I didn't realize it when I was in high school. Like I wasn't thinking about any of this. This is 27-year-old me realizing, oh, like this is what was happening back then. But at the time, I'm like 16. I didn't know any better. And so I'm just going through the motions, watching all this fucked up, like weird ass hentai and stuff. No, like nothing. It was never anything illegal, but it was just like, it was weird, you know, like if you get deep into this addiction, you start to get into the genres where it's like, you know, after you nut, you're sitting there looking at the screen and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, why am I watching this? Why did I just look at that? Why did I just jerk off to that? After a few years, it started getting to that point where it's like, I don't even like the things that I'm looking at. Like in real life, I wouldn't want any of this. But for some reason, I'm sitting here jerking off to it and deriving some sick, twisted pleasure from it. It's because I was addicted. I didn't know at the time that I was addicted. I didn't know porn addiction was a thing. But like I said, once I started talking to girls in senior year and I started getting towards college, then I started feeling like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should actually like interact with people instead. And that's when I started learning about like the whole no-fap movement and porn addiction and all that. And that's when I started to realize like, oh, there's a reason that I'm doing this. Like I kind of hinted at it already throughout the video, but there's like a root cause that we all have that causes us to get addicted to anything. You know, usually it's some form of stress or boredom even, or some sort of strong emotion. Like I said earlier, for me, it was that low self-esteem. It was that not feeling good enough. I didn't feel like I was good enough to get women in real life. Like my mom would literally joke with me. She'd be like, Aaron, like no girlfriend until you're 18. And she was just joking with me. But then I would be serious and I'd be like, it's okay, mom. Like that's never going to happen anyways. Like that was how I thought of myself. That was how I believed in myself. That was how little I believed in myself. Like I was literally speaking that out into the universe. I literally manifested that reality. Sorry, it's fucking hot. Why is it so hot? Somebody turned the heater on really high. Okay, sorry about that. So for me, the root cause was this level of low self-esteem and not feeling good enough. And yeah, of course it made me feel bad, but then you go watch the porn and then for a little bit it makes you feel good, but then you start feeling bad again because of that dopamine spike and crash that we always talk about. And I didn't know that at the time, but I just knew, oh, I don't feel so good again. Let me go back to porn. Let me go back to just jerking it. Let me go back to looking at the hentai and looking at the hub and looking at all these really pretty girls that are literally getting fucked by another dude. Like that's literally porn is cuck shit. I've talked about this on like, I made a TikTok about this that went like semi-viral, I guess, viral for my page, because I only have around 170 followers and it got like almost 11K views. But I literally said like, watching porn makes you a cuck because it's literally you just sitting there watching some girl you find attractive get fucked by another dude. Like that's most of the porn we watch. And some dudes, of course, were like, oh, well, just watch girl on girl. Like, you know, just watch girls by themselves. It's like, okay, that's a little better, but still don't do it. Like, why am I gonna sit here and watch girls on the screen when I can just go talk to them in real life? That was what I kind of started to realize as I got older, is a way I can just interact with women in real life. I don't have to live vicariously through the screen anymore. So the root cause, my root cause was that low self-esteem. It was that lack of self-belief. And I was creating this self-fulfilling cycle. I told myself I wasn't good enough, and then I acted as if I wasn't good enough. And then women weren't as attracted to me because of the low way in which I carried myself with low confidence. And that's just not attractive. And I would escape into some fantasy land pretending to be someone else. And I was just pretending. I was just gaslighting myself into thinking that I was actually doing all those things. And then it made my relationships with women worse because then it got to a point where I didn't realize this until later, but I was viewing women as like sexual objects and only sexual objects. And I think most guys do this and don't realize it. And this is why most guys have a hard time actually talking to women. You're so nervous to talk to women because you don't view her as a human being. You've watched so much porn that your brain just associates women with jerking off, women with sex, women with just watching a video on a screen and like seeing titties and seeing ass. Like that's all you think about. You've trained your brain. I programmed my brain back in the day to only think about women in a sexual way. And so of course, when you go and talk to her, you're not thinking of another human being. You're not actually like thinking, oh, I'm going to talk to this other person, have a conversation. They got all their opinions and like their personality and their experiences and their own perspectives on things. Like, no, you're just thinking like, how can I get laid? How can I get her to give me my number? You're trying to get something. You're trying to extract something. It's transactional. Like I'm not actually out here talking to another person. I'm treating them like some special unicorn that is out of reach, right? Because By constantly watching the porn, you're also telling yourself that it's out of reach, right? I was telling myself subconsciously, I was reinforcing that belief that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't get it in real life. Constantly being in the porn reinforced that belief that I could only get this through the screen. And so, of course, when I actually try and talk to a woman in real life, not only was it transactional because I'm only viewing her as an object, but then I didn't even like view myself as on the same level. Like, we're just people, right? We're all equal. But I would view like her, she's up here and then I'm down here. That was like the subconscious viewpoint that I had. Like, I was literally putting women on a pedestal because of constantly viewing them as sexual objects. And then that made it even harder to talk to women. And then that makes it even harder to like get laid, right? Or like have a genuine relationship. And that hurts your confidence even further. So then you go back to the porn. And again, it's the addiction cycle all over again. You just get stuck in that. So just like with the weed, you have to figure out what is your root cause. Why are you doing this? Why are you constantly going back to this substance or going back to this content or going back to this habit? And yeah, it's not just 100% your root cause. Like, it's not just an emotional thing, because even after I started dealing with that low self-esteem and I started developing more confidence and stuff, there was still the physical aspect, like the neural programming. We literally develop new neural pathways when we're constantly doing a habit, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit. So my brain and my body was just literally used to porn. It was literally used to the tension, right? Because porn, it brings you out of your body and into your head. It's the opposite of sex. When you're actually having sex, you're actually connecting with someone, you're present, you're engaged, all five senses, right? Your awareness is out of your head and it's in your body, and you're relaxed and you're connecting with another person. But when you're watching porn, it's the exact opposite, because you're just staring at a screen. You're not actually really moving or doing anything. You're out of your body and you're stuck in your head and you're just tensed up, because like you don't even realize, for a while, for years, I didn't even realize that I was tensing up so much, like, during arousal or during sex. But it's because of that programming from porn, from doing it so many times, doing it like thousands of times over the years. You're literally tensing up your whole body, especially around, your genitals, your core, your glutes, your hips, because you're trying to force out the ejaculation, right? Porn literally trains you to nut really fast because you're just trying to get that dopamine hit really fast. And so that leads to bad sex. That leads to you can't even get it up. There was some experiences where I couldn't even fully get it up with women, like when I lost my virginity and stuff, because it was like my body and my brain was so used to being aroused by porn and how overstimulating that is, that real sex and real women, although I was genuinely interested and genuinely was turned on, like my body just wasn't as stimulated, right? It's understimulating in comparison. It's like when you go from, constantly being on your phone and scrolling to just like trying to meditate. It's like meditation seems fucking boring in comparison to being on your phone all day, even though meditation is a much more natural state than constantly doom scrolling, right? But our brains and our bodies get programmed. We program them, and we get so used to just being overstimulated all the time, just doing the same habits all the time and acting in the same way, and our body just reacts in the same way, that we have to like undo it over time, intentionally relax, take a deep breath, let go, right? We have to undo that physical programming just as much as we have to face our inner demons of the emotional issues. But I would still say the emotional side of things, that root cause of why you keep going back, that strong emotion that you're trying to escape from, that's still the most important thing, right? It's 2026. We don't want to run from our inner demons. We want to face our demons and cast them out. We want to get rid of them. We want to look them in the eye and say, I no longer fear you. You no longer have any power over me. The only power that my low self-esteem and low confidence in high school had over me at that time, at the peak of my porn addiction, the only power that those negative emotions had over me were the power that I was giving them by constantly feeding them, by constantly identifying with them and thinking that that was who I was. No, I was choosing that. That's not who I was. I was simply choosing that at that time. And then I realized, no, I don't have to choose that anymore. I can be different. I can be someone else. I can be a better version of me. I can be a healthier, happier, more competent version of me that's filled with more inner peace and lives a healthier life, lives a healthier sex life, practices a healthier form of sexuality, because porn is like the junk food of sex, right? It's like if you're always eating McDonald's and all this crappy food, which I was at that time. Ironically, I was also just constantly eating like McDonald's and Taco Bell and Jack in the Box. Your body and your brain is just used to that food. But when you stop eating it, yeah, it might feel weird at first, but then you start to get used to the normal food. You start to get used to the healthy food. And then you go back to the fast food because that programming, that physical programming, those neural pathways are still technically there. But then you realize, oh, this is disgusting. Why was I still eating this? The same thing happened with porn. It was like you're just so used to expressing yourself sexually in that way, in that way through porn, that you don't even realize how good like actual sex and actual intimacy and actual connection feels until you stop doing the porn and you actually have real sex and you actually like connect with someone. But then again, that programming is still there. So then you might end up going back later on just to be like, oh, why not? You know, your brain still craves it a little bit, but then you're like, oh, this is so overstimulating. Like, this is sick. Like, why would I watch this? Why would I do this? Instead of, you know, actually intimately connect with someone. So I just wanted to share my story with you. I tried to keep it like PG because we're on YouTube. So I tried not to go into too much detail, but yeah, I mean, porn's just not good for you. There's no reason to watch it. The only reason guys watch it, and I can only speak really from a guy's perspective, the only reason guys watch it is because you're just running from some strong emotion, or you're just trying to live vicariously through the screen, and usually it's both. But once you realize that like, yo, I can just live that life in real life, I can actually like be a better version of myself, I can actually work on myself, I can actually go and talk to people and connect with beautiful women in real life, not just physically, but like emotionally as well, spiritually, mentally, whatever. That is so much better and so much more fulfilling than any pixels on a screen can give you. And then when you go back to porn, it just feels so empty and hollow and shallow. And you're just sitting there like, why am I even doing this? Why am I tensing up my body and like training this pathway, this neural pathway of like premature ejaculation, you know, of nutting way too fast? Like, let me relax. Let me take a deep breath. Let me calm down. Let me like enjoy the pleasure. Let me enjoy the intimacy. Let me actually enjoy this present moment. Because all sex is really, at the end of the day, at its core, it's a meditation on sensation. You're just present and you're just feeling the sensations and you're just enjoying them. Because meditation, you're just feeling the present moment. You're just aware of the present moment and you're just enjoying it. So I hope this helped in some way. I hope that you're able to get some value out of it. Maybe you see yourself in me. Pause. Maybe you see yourself in my story. Maybe you see something that you're doing, right? Maybe you are also addicted currently and you feel like there's no way out. But I just wanted to share a story. Like, there is a way out, because I'm 27 now. I was looking at this stuff since I was like 13, but I've been free of it, you know, for a while now. And I've reprogrammed, you know, my neural pathways to this type of arousal where it's just like calm and peaceful. And it's like I've reconnected with my body, I've reconnected with my breath, I've reconnected with, you know, my partners, I've reconnected with the present moment. And so it's just a wonderful thing, you know. It's just wonderful to be like calm and relaxed and not need to be dependent on some outside substance, you know, for pleasure or for intimacy or for escapism. You know, I'm sure you're noticing weed, porn, like junk food, it's all kind of the same thing. They're different forms of the same thing. They're all just escapism. They're all just ways to escape reality. And some of them are not as bad as others. You know, if you happen to smoke weed or eat some junk food every now and then, that's not as bad as watching porn all the time. But realistically, like, you just start to feel better without all these things. You just start to feel calmer, more at peace. So I'm kind of just rambling now, I'm kind of just yapping. This just wrapping up my thoughts here. But if you made it this far into the video, congratulations. Your attention span is greater than that of a goldfish. You can actually sit still and listen to a video or watch a video for more than 30 seconds. And I love and appreciate every single one of you that is still here